Hey y'all! So as you can tell by the title, this is going to be a very fresh and very glowing, very luminous makeup look, and so we are just going to jump right in. Starting off with the face, I am just applying a little bit of foundation, and this foundation is not full coverage. This is a light to medium coverage foundation, and I've really been enjoying it for spring because it just kind of makes my skin not really look like it's covered with a bunch of foundation. It just makes it kind of look a little more even and covers up any imperfections while still looking very natural. So today I'm taking a flat top kabuki brush. This one is by Sigma, and I am just going to generously blend that into the skin until I get the look that I'm wanting. So as you can see, it didn't cover up every little thing, but it covered up the majority of everything and just evened out my skin tone. I've still got some little freckles and a few imperfections here and there peeping through, but it still just looks very natural, very hydrated, and very glowing, which is exactly what I was wanting that day. Now for today's concealer, I am going in with a radiant concealer. This does not necessarily have a color to it. It has a very pinky peach undertone, which is going to help brighten and correct any darkness under my eyes. And for whatever reason, I had a lot of darkness that day. So this is the concealer I chose to use, and it does have a little bit of an iridescent glow to it. It's not shimmery, but this is just going to give us such a very fresh and hydrated look that I just love right now. Now for the under eye, I am going in with a translucent powder, and this is just so that concealer doesn't move, and the reason I chose translucent was to keep it very light and very fresh, and also to allow the natural tones and the natural color and the natural glow that that concealer has to shine through. I only set that because on me that concealer would have creased throughout the day had I not set it with a powder. And for this look, I chose a very light powder to set the rest of my face, and by light, I don't mean my shade, I mean the coverage it gives. I just wanted something, once again, just to set my foundation, but it would still look very fresh, and you could see that foundation just shining through in a very hydrating way. Now moving to the eyes, I chose just to keep this once again very simple and very fresh. I am going in with a very light brown shimmery color. This is kind of what I would consider like a taupe color, and you can use any shade for this. You do not have to have the specific one that I used, and I am just going to brush that or paint that all over my lid just to give it a nice little wash of color. And of course for highlighting, I'm taking a little bit of the illuminator that I'm actually going to use on my face. This is in the shade Yellow Diamond. I am just going to run that under my brow bone and drag that into the inner corners of my eye. And then of course all I'm doing here is taking a super fluffy brush and just blending those two colors together with no product on it. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have a sharp line, that those two colors just met together and melded together and made a super pretty transition. Now I'm going to start bronzing, and since it is spring, I'm using a little warmer shade bronzer. I have gotten a little bit of color, so this looks really nice once you do have a little bit of a tan, and I'm just going to throw this all over the high points of my face, and then I'm also going to use it to slightly contour in just a moment. Now for contouring, I'm using that same exact bronzer that I used before, just on a more dense, precise brush. I'm going to run it into the hollows of my cheekbones, under my nose, at my temples, wherever I just want a more concentrated amount. I'm going to apply that with this brush just to give us a little more depth and definition. Now for blush, I'm using one of my favorites, which is Coral Blush. I absolutely love this for this time of year, and I wanted just to incorporate this in today's video because nothing says spring like coral, in my opinion. Now to make it a true glowy makeup look, I'm going in with two highlighters today. The first one is a bronzer toned highlighter that's very skin tone, and I'm going to dust that all over my forehead, nose, and cheeks. And then the second one is a more opaque yellow toned highlight that I'm only going to be applying to my cheekbones and the tip of my nose. And then I decided to add a little extra more to my temples and forehead too, just to make it extra glowy. And of course, like always, I'm just going in with my handy dandy blending brush, and I'm going to go over everything and just make sure it's very seamless and everything's very nicely blended together. Here I am just popping a little bit more of that yellow diamond illuminator into the inner corners of my eye just to make sure they're super glowy and they're popping big time. I'm also going to add just a tish more precisely to the tip of my nose and to my cupid's bow. I want this look to be as hydrating and luminous as I can possibly get. For today's look, I'm keeping the lash line incredibly simple. I'm just dragging the exact same color I used on my lid onto my lower lash line just to make my lashes look a little fuller. Well, hello there. Obviously, I have already done my brows, liner, and lashes, but I will be linking all of the products I used in the description bar below. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment. So jumping right on into lips, I have already actually lined my lips as well. I just didn't get my face in the frame. You couldn't see what I was doing, so I just cut it out. I lined them with just a nude pink lip liner. Also, I will have the details in the description bar, and now I'm just going over it with a very pretty pink gloss. Alright, you guys, that is the look. I really hope you enjoyed it and that it gave you some inspiration for spring. I pray that you're doing well, and I pray that you have a wonderful day. Bye, y'all.